Bye, Johnny. As soon as I hit record. What's up? Day 4 is here. We're living. Um, y'all, this has been such a fun, awesome week for me. Thank you so much for everyone who's been participating. Everyone who's been emailing me. A lot of those, they're all women. A lot of the ladies who have not been able to show up live due to work and schedules and things have been emailing me all of their answers. So it's been really awesome to be in cahoots, if you will, just seeing how all this stuff has landed. And so thank you everybody who's been participating. This is, like I told you, like all my favorite stuff in one little package. And so yeah, first of all, I want to thank everybody who has signed up for the VIP spots. I do have one spot left. And so if anybody is interested, we have had really great success so far in the VIPs, those who have taken the time with me and have scheduled, or our sessions are to come. Some of the transformations that we have seen so far in the VIPs has been just feeling like they're ready to take on the summer. Feeling like they have a plan for weight loss set up. I know that's not everyone's goal in here, but from a weight loss perspective, I mean, y'all know what I believe from a nervous system regulation standpoint. When you are in fight or flight, the blood flow, the energy is literally not in your center cavity. And so to have the tools, to find the tools, to have then, I call it homework, but then to have the homework to do, to spend your time, to bring you back into your body time and time again as you feel that the world, that the things, that your triggers pull you out of your body is truly one of the best things that I really think I have to offer. And so if you are still on the fence, if you'd like the VIP spot, let me know. I'm going to share at the end of the session today a sweet little 6-week course coming up. We're starting, orientation is on Thursday, the 23rd. But if you do sign up for a VIP, the special bonus is that you can apply that money to the course and so you choose to continue on and actually learn many more of the tools that we've been talking about that have really, I think, shared in the client transformations that we've been sharing so far. And so again, if you would like a spot in the VIP, let me know. I'd love to save you the last spot. Today is all about embodiment. Today is about noticing how what the heck you do in life lands in your body. How does it make you feel? How do you continue to show up for yourself when you're not feeling 100% or when you're not feeling like you have the energy? I say this as women who menstruate. There's going to be times in our cycle where we have shit to do. We have presentations to show up for. We have work. We have relationships. We have things to do. And we really just could feel we don't want to do it, right? Energetically, we don't have the energy for it. Maybe physically, we're not feeling great. We're not feeling like the best version of ourselves. We're bloated. We're all of the things. We got acne. Like, I get it. I've been there and I've been pregnant. So, like, when I tell you, like, I have been through all of this, the postpartum, like, truly, but to have the tools that continue to pull you back into your body. So again, I call it embodiment, but it's just finding a connection to you. So everything that you're doing so that you know, like, I have this thing that I have to be high vibe for, and I'm really feeling pretty low vibe. And on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe right now I'm feeling like a 3, but I need to show up as at least a 7 or an 8 so I, can be that person that these people need me to be or that I'm getting paid to be. Having the tools to support yourself to get to that energy, even for like a short container of time. Right? If it's a 1 hour conference, if it's when I go in to teach anatomy, it's 6 hours. That's a little bit harder. But like, again, having the tools to navigate your energy when you need it, when you can pull back a little bit and save some, and then the tools to continue to reboot yourself, literally like a computer and technology. When shit's not working, what do? We hit the power button, turn it off, and we turn it right back on. Maybe not right back on. Sometimes we leave it overnight, right? Turn that shit off, leave it overnight, turn it back on in the morning. So sharing some of those tools again it's just going to be so fun. So, in reflection of yesterday's homework was to try on something new. It was a little bit of future self journaling. and trying on new things. If you have the capacity, and if you're watching the replay, definitely throw this in your email. But throw it in the chat if you can. What did you try on? What was your thing? What was your new thing, right? Hair a different way. Maybe you live in that RV life, like trying something new that way. But what was your new thing that you tried on yesterday? I say this, y'all can even just unmute yourself. It's just a couple of us. Like I'm happy to hold space for your beautiful voices.
Yeah, I'd rather unmute.
Please, come on, girl.
Sure. I'm always the one who also just types it, like, so I was double checking for typos. Yeah. So like you said, the RV for us, we've had a camper for a while, but we just traded into this one. It's a bit bigger so that we can have space to work from it.
Awesome.
And it was scary because I'm pulling something. Like we pulled it instead of driving it, so it was pretty scary for both of us. But everything has worked out, and it's been great so far. Yeah.
Yay. How did you sorry, can I ask a follow-up question?
Of course.
I always
Of
like
course.
to ask if I can ask instead of diving in, and sometimes I
Yeah.
get excited. How did it feel? I hear you're scary, but how
Yeah.
did it feel? So maybe perhaps while you're doing it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it felt scary. How did it feel on the other end? You did it.
Good. Yeah, I know. That's well, my husband did it. I just cheered him on from the passenger seat.
Whatever
Yes.
it takes.
But no, but great. I'm actually just like really proud of him for doing it, for being the one who stepped in and was like, we're just gonna try this thing and research it, figure out to do it the right way. And I think we were really intentional about like, if we fuck it up, it's fine. And like we'll just deal with the consequences when it happens, and we just take everything really slow. So
Yeah.
I think giving ourselves the permission to like not get it right the first time feels really good and is like really calming for the nervous system too. So yeah.
Yes, perfectionism type A, just to throw it out there, all that shit lives all up here. And so like so many associated like neck tension, shoulder, like kink in your neck. A lot of times it leads into then throat chakra. And so like, suffocating or not using your words in a positive manner, in an eloquent manner, not being able to show up as our best selves, right? All of this to me is an eluding body confidence. But being able to use your words for purpose, for good, being able to show up in the ways in which you want to show up for. And so it sounded like the perfectionism could have been there, like little light bulbs, like, hey, I know this, I know this, I know I've been here before. And you chose to do it a different way. Like, so like truly applaud to you, applaud to your nervous system, applaud to all of the work that you've been doing. Great job. Yeah. Beth, you got anything to add?
Okay, so I didn't see the email until this morning. So I did it this morning, even though it wasn't intentional, but I'm still going to share. I had the message come through of somewhere where I want that I could take my mom. That was like, it's like really important for her to go, but I can't go until August right now. And they called me this morning and they were like, we have an opening, like we can take you. And I felt myself go like, okay, like I gotta go get her and call. And I'm also like closer to her right now, like in driving distance. So I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be really easy. Like I'm just gonna go and take her right now. But then I started to realize like I wouldn't have been able to take my 11 o'clock call or my 12 o'clock call. It would have thrown off my whole day. And I would have let like the urgency of the thing, like of her appointment and like her care. And it wasn't like life or death, obviously, but like the urgency of that, like puts me normally into this like chaos tailspin, but in the past I've chosen to like do that because it's just like what I know and that's what she does and all the things. So instead I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. Or I at least like meditated first and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. So I didn't do it, even though it felt really hard to not to. But afterwards, when I was able to reflect, I was like, oh wow, that was something new.
Mm-hmm. May I share a reflection?
Yeah.
I know Bethany well. She's one of my clients, so a little different approach. I hear that you felt chaotic energy.
Yeah.
You chose to do something that was grounding for you,
Mhm.
and you made a grounded decision based
Mhm.
on what was going to support your best, highest purpose, elevated self for that day,
Yeah.
for that moment.
Yep.
Fuck yes. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. Y'all are crushing this. Oh, hell yeah. Cheers to you, ladies. Cheers to you. I'll share for me, I canceled my whole day. Okay, not the whole day. I taught yoga that night. I'm supposed to, on Wednesdays, I drive 30 minutes away. I actually drive more than that because I have to drop my little booper off at childcare. And I had nobody signed up for body work, and I had one thing, and I was like, man, this doesn't feel good and aligned to go up for just this one thing. It's like 3 hours of driving to go teach one yoga class. And so, and I honestly, I had one person sign up for the yoga class, and she had texted me earlier and said, like, I don't even know if I can make it. And so old Gab, we used to show up and be like frantic, like texting everybody, like, hey, can I get you in at this time? Can I get you in at like da da da? A lot of, for me, my old ways of being has a lot to do with um money, like not feeling like I don't have enough. And so not forcing clients, because obviously they can say no, but definitely like forcing and shoving in order to kind of make it so I can make some money for that day. And so, and coming from a place more so of scarcity and worthiness and lack of feeling worthy. And so instead I just canceled class. I was like, man, let me ground into this. Like, I thought I was going to get work done. I had my kid at home. Like, nah, nothing got done. Okay, some things got done. During nap time, I did send out a couple emails. She contact napped. So, what really can you do? But I was able to stay present and grounded. I was really proud of myself. So, yeah, thank y'all for holding space. All of this work is a beautiful testament to what's available for you. And so, yeah, awesome. Great work, y'all. Great work. I wanted to start off with, well, first, just acknowledging you guys. And second, if coming back to this full circle, like if it's not a hell yes, it's a fuck no. And just a gentle reminder, like it doesn't exist. And so, again, as you think about yesterday, as you think about future self journaling, if you've never done future self journaling and really thinking about like who you want to be, where you want to go, and I typically call it new your name. So like new Gab, new Bethany, new Ashley. Sometimes I find for some of my clients that's a triggering way to say like the elevated version of yourself. So like if that's triggering, I don't mean it to be. Think of a different word. The aligned version of yourself, the elevated version of yourself, the 2.0 version. Again, whatever the reframe needs to be, if new doesn't work. But I use the word new just to show you that you are going to be a different person. You get to continuously be evolving. And so as you think about future self journaling, who you want to go, where you want to be, when you're writing these things out, when you're visualizing, when you're creating vision boards, whether you literally are cutting out things from a magazine and posting them onto a poster like typical vision board, or you're just journaling about it, continue to notice how it feels in your body. Right? When you write these transformations down in your head, are you already like, oh yeah, that's not actually going to fucking happen? Or are you more so, does it like bring joy? Does it spark something new? Does it bring like a new fire, a new energy to you? And then notice, especially if it is that new, like fun energy, like, oh, this feels good. This feels motivational, kind of like the New Year's resolution, but stuff we're actually going to do, stuff we're actually going to stick to, and things that are going to actually transform us. Remember that it might feel scary. Remember that as much as it might have this like forward momentum type energy to it, it also might be like, ooh, I feel a little shaky. I kind of like, I don't know if I fully believe this yet. Some of the things that you write down when you're future self journaling, some of the things that you put on your vision board, y'all, aren't meant for you, are not meant for you. Period. But they might feel good. Notice, are they coming from your old way of being, right? Did baby Gab want this thing? Did baby Gab learn at a young age from their mom that this was the sign of, or dad, whoever, childhood, that this was a sign of success, right? For me, I never had an option if I was going to go to college or not. It was like, from as little as I can remember, my mom told me, no, you're going to college. I am a first generation American on my mother's side. And so like my mom never graduated college. She got pregnant. Um, she actually had to take care of her mom. Lots of family stuff happened. They then moved back to Italy. They wouldn't take my mom's college credits. They wanted to send her back to high school. My mom's like, I'm not going back to high school. I'm in college. Long story short, my mom never, and then she got pregnant. My mom never actually graduated college. And I think my mom then projected that idea onto us. Like, well, a sign of success is, numbers or numbers, letters after your name, sometimes numbers, I guess, but letters after your name in college. Yeah, Bethany's resonating. And so for me, it was never if, and I love school, y'all. Like I loved school. I love learning. So it wasn't a hard thing for me. It also never felt like an option. And so things that you have, and I say school because that's my truth, but there's so many other things that have been projected on you that actually aren't even meant for you. My dad wanted me to be a stockbroker. I teach nervous system awareness, like, and yoga. Come on, it couldn't be further from the truth. But if I, if I landed that, yeah, the rebel in you. If I claimed that as my truth and my dad so wanted me to do that, I would be a totally different person. Totally different person. And so I always the visual I have, again, always teach visuals. I'm a visual learner. The visual I have is you only have 100% capacity. If all of the dreams and goals that other people have for you are taking up all of that space or 80% of that space, there's no room for your dreams and goals. If the habits, the hobbies, how you spend your time is keeping you stuck, it is keeping you stuck into your old ways of being, there's no room for you to move forward at all. There's no room for the evolution. And so one of my favorite things that we do within the course, within all my coaching courses, but we'll definitely do it in the confidence course to come. I'll share more about that at the end, is what I call the habit swap. And so literally it is a blend of writing down all of your habits, all the ways in which you spend your time. There's a couple different ways in which I do this, but you write down all the ways in which you spend your time. You cross off the shit that doesn't serve you anymore. You circle the shit that really fucking lights you up. And then we continue the process of like, great. Now, based off of like, I usually write your name and put it in a little box. Like, there's things that are keeping you stuck in this old way of being. The old way of being is the one in the box. And then there's all of the room outside of the box. I will share with you one of my clients, her name, let's call her Jill. Jill, man, she's an author. She has a PhD in spirituality. Like, she fucking eats this shit up. She came to me and she just, first of all, she said, I feel so disconnected to my body. I don't know what my body's saying to me. I know I'm connected to this higher power, but I have no idea what my purpose, my goal, my mission is. And I am feeling so disconnected from myself. And so she wasn't able to make decisions that she felt were grounded and good and in her best interest. When we first started getting to the nitty gritty of like who she is, where she wants to go, she will tell you she wanted to be on a stage speaking to thousands of women. She could see it. She had this vision, right? Author speaking to all of these women. They didn't have to be women, people, excuse me. And so the deeper she went into, she was a one-on-one client of mine. So it's a 12-week program. The deeper she continued to go in, and the more we started to look at her habits and how she was spending her time, the more the more she found her voice. She definitely will tell you, she started to feel connected to her body in a way in which she never had before. How that showed up for her was being able to make like heart-driven decisions, changing of relationships, letting go of friendships that didn't serve her, letting go of old patterns and habits and hobbies. But she really in her words, from like a third party view, she was able to kind of like look into her life. And what she found was that like she didn't want to be speaking on a stage. This was her dream, y'all. Like for years and years is her dream. She realized that she didn't want to be on a stage speaking to thousands of people at a time. What she wanted was small, intimate groups where she can really start to cultivate change. And she was pushing and pushing. She hired a new publicist. Again, she was pushing for this dream and like buying things on social media to boost her views and like all paid at like paid like, and she was in like full on in to make this dream of being a big old speaker happen. She already has small intimate groups of people who are looking for her support, right? All we had to do was realize like this for her was to realize that this actually was her dream and her purpose. And like this filled her up at such a different capacity. She'll tell you, last I talked to her, she's like, I don't know if I'm, not going to be speaking on a stage, or if I get invited to speak on somebody else's stage, like I'm a yes for that. She goes, but the connection that I am getting to the women that I get to speak to in these small circles brings me deeper in my work than I have ever been. And again, y'all, she has a PhD in spirituality. Like has been in congregations speaking to hundreds of people. And so your dreams might be your dreams until you really start to regulate your nervous system and connect to your body. And then you'll realize, perhaps you may realize that the thought that you had in your head isn't actually going to be what fills you up. And so embodiment is, for me, like really taking all of your dreams and your goals through all 5 of your senses, learning how to slow down. One of my favorite exercises that I want to invite y'all into, when you have lunch today, and maybe you've already eaten, when you eat again, slow down. Put your fork down between bites. Experience your food. I am Italian. I will tell you, we love food. One of the funniest exercises I've ever done in a course, it was a mindfulness-based stress reduction course. This is based out of Brown University. They had you bring a raisin or a craisin to class. And before you could eat it, just one, before you could eat it, you had to move through all 5 of your senses. So you had to smell it, you had to look at it, you had to hear it. So like you rub the raisin like up to your ear, it makes silly noises. Feel it, and only then could you taste it. But when you tasted it, you bit slow, you chewed it till it was like awkwardly disintegrating in your mouth. It was the whole exercise. It's a funny exercise that I've taken with me. You don't need to eat a raisin or a craisin, but like experience your food and notice when you're eating. If you've ever had, like I have some allergies going on right now, but if you've ever been sick or stuffed up and you can't breathe through your nose, you know how you really can't taste your food? It's like so many of us eat so damn quick and we're just shoveling and like we still have a bite in our mouth, but we're just putting another bite in. We eat so fast that we don't actually experience and taste our food. You're not getting all the nutrients out of that food. And so it's the same reason why, again, when you're stuffed up and you're not breathing through your nose, you're not smelling and experiencing your food, you can't really taste it as much. The invitation is when you're chewing, like breathe in through your nose. Notice how it changes the taste of your food, the experience of your food. But with each bite, like chew your food. Notice which teeth you like to chew on. Notice which side of your mouth you prefer to chew on. And it's a right brain, left brain thing, but use your other hand to use the fork. Like switch hands. If you're using a spoon, I find it much, much harder. Like if you're spooning like cereal and stuff, like sometimes, again, not all of us are ambidextrous, but the invitation is the same. Like just try it on. Notice how it feels. How we feel? What's coming up? Anything? Any questions? Beautiful. All right, I want to share another client story. His name we'll call him Roy. Roy is, I don't know if I would say recently divorced. Maybe it's been a year. I guess that still feels recent. Either way, Roy has been trying to redefine his whole life. Roy was paying to become a pilot. And so Roy knew he was colorblind, but I guess there's two different types of color blindness. I don't know much about this. I've only know what Roy has shared with me. And so let me share a little bit of his backstory. So, and this was all through this same work together. He was not conscious of what was going on at the time. Hold on one second. I feel connected to the embodiment part that I practice regulation stuff, and now new things are opening up that feel more aligned. Yes, hell yeah. Than what my current offerings are. Great. Bethany's an entrepreneur, just for everybody, which is cool and scary. Yes, redefining. Hell yes, your whole business, especially as an entrepreneur. You got to love it. You got to be passionate about it, especially if you're trying to make money and sell it. I couldn't agree more. This is very similar to Roy. So Roy, through our work together, through a lot of the childhood trauma meditations and things that I share, Roy discovered that when he was a kid and things got hard, for example, schoolwork or sports, he was always a bigger kid, heavier set, but also very taller. Like he just was a bigger kid, taller and heavier set. So he would get out of breath easily and often as a kid, especially, running around playing soccer games on the weekends, so on and so forth. Anytime his heart rate would get elevated or he started looking red in the face, his mom would ask the coach to pull him out. Anytime things got difficult, his mom would pull him out. His mom would say, "Oh, it's okay, baby. You don't have to." He's also the only son out of 3 kids, 2 sisters. He also might be the baby, if I'm remembering correctly. Either way, power birth order, the whole thing. And so this was in meditation, childhood soulful parenting meditation. I think I shared it early on, maybe in the first session. Nonetheless, we discovered together, he shared with me that his mom, again, almost came in as his savior. And so anything times got hard, mom would be like, "It's okay, you don't have to." Like, "Oh, here, take this inhaler." Like he didn't need an inhaler. He didn't have exercise-induced asthma. He just was out of breath because he was a bigger kid. And he will tell you that. So his mom saved him. His mom let him quit anything that was hard. His mom actually told him "Oh, let's just not show up. Let's just not do that again." And so Roy, now grown ass man, divorced, in training school, whatever, to be a pilot. He knows he's colorblind. You have to be able to see colors in order to be a pilot, by the way. But apparently, again, there's 2 different types of color blindness. And so the first kind is just I guess, normal color blindness. And the second kind is you really can't be a pilot on your own. We can't have you up in the planes because in order to see another plane coming at you, it's a lot like boating. I grew up boating. There's red lights, there's green lights. It's also, why don't we just choose different colors for people who are colorblind? I don't know. Either way, that's just my opinion. But so anyways, Roy just went through all of this extensive training and testing to figure out that he is in fact the bad kind of colorblind. And so Roy actually was just here to this morning. And he was sharing with me that he doesn't know if it feels like he's just quitting. His mom gave him this permission slip to quit anything that was hard. And so just this morning, as we were reflecting on his childhood stuff, as we were talking about becoming a pilot, does this actually bring him happiness? Is he just forcing this to happen because he had this idea in his head that this is what success meant for him? This would bring him happiness. And also knowing that his mom let him have a permission slip to quit anything, he hasn't wanted to quit anything. And so with that being said, he is still in process of this. I think he got really extra clear today, actually. But with that being said, it's just one of those where you have to slow down. You have to know, am I poking the bear? Am I pushing? Am I shoving? Am I going back into my old way of being? And so for Roy, it was a lot of the habit swap exercise that we've been doing to really get to the end goal of, and again, we were working on this just this morning. We were working on, does this actually fill you up? What does this bring in and out of you? And so he's an extreme sport kind of guy. He goes, well, it's the same when I'm like kite surfing. It's the same when I'm snowboarding. It's like that same kind of rush of adrenaline. He goes, I just thought it'd be cool to fly. So I don't want to fly commercial. Like, I don't really, I don't really want to be a pilot. I just thought it would be another cool action sport to do. So it's like, he's looking to fill this void. He had this idea in his head. And again, through this habit swap exercise, he really was able to today, like, look at it and be like, man, I think I just have not been wanting to quit this thing and been forcing and shoving because my mom has always told me it's okay to quit. And I want to be like, no, well, fuck that, mom. Like, it's not okay to quit. And so again, like, what are you holding on to that doesn't serve you, that's somebody else's ideas and views of you? And so again, embodiment to me really is learning how every single thing in your life lands in your body. How does it make you feel? Does it actually make you feel like you thought it would? And then step 5, like the last step, the last thing that I really wanted to share with you guys is, from a judgment-free lens, being able to simply try again. Start over. If the new habit or hobby or that new thing that you really thought was going to push the needle is not doing or acting or serving you in which the way that you thought it would, it's not helping you elevate into the highest, best version of yourself, being able to let it go, judgment free. And again, my favorite way to do this is just a simple habit swap exercise, but you have to know who you are first. Again, that was day 1. You have to know who you are. So you can start to celebrate and find gratitude for what has gotten you here. And then knowing where you want to go, right? Day 3 was future self visualization and journaling and like thinking about where you want to be, where you want to go, how you want to evolve into. The ability to, again, today, all about really learning how everything lands on you. What does it make you feel? What does it bring up? Is there old colors, memories, past songs, right? This is another beautiful reason why I practice yoga. Helps slow you down, like get back into your body, even when you're shaking, especially when you're shaking, even when you're like holding warrior 2 and your gaze is set, but your arms are shaking. You're like, my teacher holds me here for a couple more breaths. Like my arms are on fire. I'm like lighting it up. It's like all of that is so intentional. What are the thoughts in your head? When you're in half pigeon, what's going on in your head? Where are you holding tension? That's probably where you hold tension. And so all of these different tools that are my favorite things to share in order to help get you back into your body so that you can, with a judgment-free lens, be able to let that thing go. Like, oh man, like this tension, this stress in my body feels super similar to when I felt this other negative, not good way, after I had a breakup, like after I did this thing, or when I first started dating this person who showed you all of your old ways of being and brought them right back up and is not helping you elevate into a different version of yourself, but rather holding you stuck. Being able to let that thing, that person, whatever, that thing go, so you can continue your evolution. Again, you only have 100% capacity. What is taking up most of your space? And so in your homework today, you're going to receive a body scan meditation. It's my favorite place to start when you're learning the sensations of your body. It's definitely where I started, but it's definitely one of my favorite ways in which to show people, like, just slow down. Start to notice the sensation in your toes everywhere in your body. And I'm happy to also share this with you. I have a chart of where all the emotions live in your body. I'll share the page for that too. If you guys would like that, you can download it. But every single joint, muscle in your body is holding on to an emotion. And the better you get to know yourself, again, through body scan, things like body scan meditation and yoga and journaling and so on and so forth, all of the somatic tools, the better you're going to be able to, in the moment, thinking about how your nervous system is wired, be able to identify like, oh, shoot, I know this emotion, or I know this place in my body and I know what lives there. And when this thing starts to trigger, it's always the upper trap. When this thing starts to get triggered, I know I'm going back to my old ways of being, or I know I'm forcing things and I'm shoving things. And so how can you slow down, take the pause, whether it's a 5 senses check-in, if it's a deep breath, if it's a stand up and spin around, or if it's a total walking away, and be able to come back down in a new grounded state. This reminds me a lot of what Bethany did this morning, right? Ground down into a new cool, calm, and collected state and make the decision again. You might make the same decision. You might try something different. All right, question. What's the line between the feeling like a quitter and then not knowing when to quit? Oh, girl, that's on you. But it's getting to know yourself, right? And so again, for my client, Roy, for him, he stopped when he left the house. He will tell you that, excuse me, he will tell you now, he knew none of this before we started working together. Like truly, when I tell you this work is profound, this changed his life. He was like, oh shit. Like he knew, he will tell you, he was with his ex-wife for 20 years. He will tell you the last 10 years, they were not romantic partners. He's like, I should have left a long time ago. He was so stuck in that if I quit, it means my mom's right. Like he identified as a quitter, had no idea. So he wouldn't let himself quit anything. He didn't want to let friends go that didn't serve him anymore, that put him down, that like, because again, he already had this identity in his head as to who he was and what it meant if he quit. It meant his mom was right. He's a quitter. He doesn't deserve anything better and to be coddled and protected. But I think one of the best tools that I have for you, obviously, is embodiment. Try it on, right? Try on doing the thing. Try on not doing the thing. And then notice how your nervous system reacts, responds to it. Again, not that if it feels easy, right? If it's not a hell yes, it's a fuck no. Like it might not feel the easiest thing to let certain things go or to add certain things. This applies to me somehow. I'm not clear exactly what. Yes. I think it's just though always getting to know yourself, getting to know how certain things land on you. But like I call it the try it on method. And I mean that exactly how it sounds. I teach this in yoga teacher training. I teach this to my one-on-one clients. I teach this to my groups. Try things on, right? If you are in a functional free state, and if you are constantly like for me, after my assault, when I told you guys I was just floating between fight or flight, freeze and shutdown, and back and forth and back and forth, and I got stuck in those ways because I wasn't eating, because I was working out way too much, I wasn't sleeping, and I just was like on to the next next thing, busy, but like not actually taking care of myself. And I just was fluctuating again between fight, flight, freeze, and shutdown in our nervous system wheel. As I was floating between all those ways of being, I needed something to come and stop me. Right? I needed something to come. And that thing was yoga teacher training. You had to stop. You had to slow down. I started doing a fuck ton of yoga. If you've ever been in teacher training, that's just what you do. Obviously, you're learning how to do yoga. But it took me out of spending so much time lifting weights. It took me out of those people. Okay, I used to call them meatheads. There's a nicer term for them, but I'm going to keep that because that's really like what I meant. And that's how I identified them at the time. But it's that like push, 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 go, 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 like fuck, yeah, right? Versus then now I'm around yoga teachers all the time and they're like, yeah, like go smudge yourself, like cool. Not all of them, but like, it's just a totally different energy that I got to be around. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah, opposites balance. But for me, the more I then was around this style of energy, again, before I joined teacher training, y'all, I would have told you I was going to go work at a professional athlete level athletic trainer. That's what I was going to do. I was great at being an athletic trainer, still great at my job. From a body standpoint, I just found so much more love for teaching this to everyday people. right? Professional athletes are a totally different breed. You're dealing with a whole bunch of different energy. And I didn't want to be around all of that energy. I was working at Auburn University. It's a D1 school. They have a really awesome football program. Women weren't allowed to work football because, it's the South. I'm from Connecticut. This is very weird for me. um, yeah, still, who knows? Can they? I don't know if they can yet, but either way, but working with athletes is a totally different culture than I actually got to work with. They put me with the cheerleaders, by the way. I will say I got all the football perks without having to work the football hours. So I still got the ring. I still got to go to the Rose Bowl. I still got all the fun things. Also football players, man, like, woo, totally different energy. Not to bring it up, but did you guys see that little fucking kicker speech about like being a homemaker and shit? If you haven't, you will now, because the world is listening. He gave us a commencement speech, the kicker for the Chiefs. I forget his name. This is a college graduation speech. I'm so sorry to be sidetracking. Is it okay if I sidetrack? Perfect. It's just us. So he gave this speech at the college commencement, college graduation ceremony, right? It's about like, go live your life, do the thing. You can be anybody you want to be. That's what it should be about, right? And he said to all the ladies, let me talk to you for a second. You might be excited for the letters after your name and for all of the achievements you've made here, but what a woman is really excited for is to be a homemaker. Fuck, do you think? And so he then continues on and says, and to all the men out there, there's a lot of this cancel culture, toxic masculinity, like represent your masculinity, go be masculine, go make the money, go do the thing. I'm like, this is bad. Y'all are going to see it now if you haven't, because, Apple's listening. The world is listening. I'm actually the worst homemaker. Y'all, I mean, I love what I do. Like, if I didn't, I got a baby in there. I can choose to be with her. Like, I am privileged enough to, my husband, we wouldn't be able to like go on our fun trips and stuff. Like my money is not keeping a roof over our heads. It helps keep food on the table. It helps pay the babysitter. So I get to work. But at the end of the day, like I am privileged enough where I don't need to really be doing as much of this as I love to do. The last time I vacuumed. I cook, you clean though, so you keep cooking, my girl. And so, but like truly, like this lights me up at such a different way than my sweet little baby ever can. Right? I serve her every day, selflessly. Every day I serve that sweet little love. And as much as I show up here and get to serve y'all, like you fill me up at such a different way than she does. And then she ever will, right? She's my kid. And so again, I think this is probably also, I'm glad we went here because this is a huge piece of embodiment. But it's really like, what lights you up? Go fucking do that. Sometimes, yes, we got to pay the bills. And sometimes, yes, you got to show up and do the hard things. Like have the tools that support you in showing up for those things. My favorite tool is shaking, right? When you're feeling low vibe and you got to feel high vibe, like literally stand up and shake your body. Like your toes, your head, like shimmy, like wiggle your hips. One of my girlfriends taught me how to African drum dance. I don't really remember all of it now, but yeah, it's like figure 8 with your hips, like Shakira style. Like, but shake your body, move the energy. And then this is one of the first things that we do in our group coaching course. But then you like literally feel how everything shifts and changes. Like even just shaking my hands for 3 seconds that I did, it's like I can feel tingling in my fingers. I can feel everything like alive, if you will, into my hands. Dishes hard, no, I see y'all. And so from an embodiment perspective, this is my favorite thing. This is what I love to share the most of. And if you're interested in continuing this work together, the 6-week course, again, we have orientation starting. It is the 23rd. We're gonna start on the 28th. It's gonna be meeting on Tuesdays. And so it's gonna have a one-on-one coaching component. It's also gonna have a group coaching component. So a little bit of collaboration and accountability. There'll be some workbooks and, fun packets and things, because I love activities like that, things to hold you accountable. Um, it's if you guys sign up within the next 7 days before orientation, I guess that wouldn't be 7 days. No, that's Thursday. Sorry, my weeks start on Sunday on some of my calendars, and sometimes they start on Mondays. This one is Sunday. Okay, so if you sign up within the next 7 days, I am correct. If you sign up within the next 7 days, it's $555. And then the price is going to go up a little bit. Again, if you have signed up for the VIP coaching, you can take that money and apply it directly to the coaching package. And so it's basically a win fucking win. That was the whole point, at least, to try and make it feel like a win-win. With that being said, though, the coaching course is all about everything we've been talking about. Learning in your body what it feels like to acknowledge where you're at. Again, we'll move through all of the exercises that I've been sharing, the 3-word exercise, the habit swap. We'll move through all of like putting yourself in a little box, like what does it look like? What's holding you back? And really, I guess even just from a acknowledgement standpoint, acknowledging simply where you're at and what in your life has created these borders around you and is keeping you playing what I call small. And then what the fuck does it look like? Like, what are the tools to help slowly? Sometimes I draw little lines. I usually do it on a whiteboard. So I draw little lines in your little box to maybe you just start to peek out a little bit, right? The whole goal is aim small, miss small. I don't want to trigger your nervous system. I want you to feel pretty cool. Again, it might not feel great and easy and light, but I want y'all to feel cool, calm, and collected as you slowly start to dip your toes into new things. Again, the habit swap is one of my favorite ways in which we do this. We'll look at a time analysis of how you're spending your time. If you're trying to evolve into anything different, you got to spend your time differently, right? You need to start. And then again, energy attracts like energy. And so another biggest thing that we're going to do is obviously the embodiment piece. And so there's going to be some yoga flows that y'all will get access to. If you're into strength training, there'll be a little bit more kind of like strength mobility work thrown in there, a little different than our yoga practice. There will be some myofascial release. Again, tons of embodiment somatic practices. We're going to do some breathing exercises. There's going to be a ton of journal prompts in there. Journaling was one of the best ways in which I got out of my rut. So just different prompts in which I love to share. Future self-journaling, of course, we got to figure out where the heck you want to go, or at least have an idea as to where you're trying to go, what the energy of that looks like, so you can start to change your ways and cultivate into that. And then try it again. Try and try again. Let it go, judgment free. Like, what does self-forgiveness look like? What does it look like to actually show up for yourself? And what does it look like to stop people-pleasing tendencies, right? What does it look like to stay in your lane, to not let everybody else's opinions really dictate who you are, where you want to go, what you do, how you spend your time, so you can really start to cultivate the person that you see yourself evolving into. And if you're a believer of something bigger than yourself, I tend to call it God. The vision that you have for yourself, I fully believe, is always different than the version God, Spirit, Divine has for you. And so you might have these goals and dreams and they're just not big enough. So they'll never really feel like they fit perfectly. And so again, with this try it on method, being able to let shit go and be like, well, I know this doesn't fit. This isn't, it's not a hell yes, it's not a fuck no, but it just doesn't fit, and it doesn't fit right now. But typically that means that there's something bigger waiting for you. And so working on different energies to help, if you like the word manifest, that's what it is. But you're just calling in different energies and being able to cultivate that. And so if you guys are interested, it's going to be limited to 10 women max, women only. Sorry, dudes. But women only. I feel like the energy is just way different. when you cultivate a space like that. And so from a women only perspective, it'll be a 6-week course. You'll be fully supported the full 6 weeks. Again, there will be a one-on-one component as well as some group coaching in there. And so if you'd like more information on that, I'm happy to hop on another call with you at a one-on-one capacity, or we can email back and forth just to see what that would look like and see if it would be a good fit for y'all. So, but thank you guys for showing up for these 4 days. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for each other. Truly, this lights me up. So thank you guys for your participation. I appreciate y'all so much. And I'm here for questions. I'm here to hold space. I'm here for whatever you need. Oh, thanks, Beth. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time and listening, and like, I don't know, even though it's still like shared space, you know, it was nice. Even Bethany, I don't know you, but I feel like there's something for the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I think that's the best part about groups. It's funny. I have women from like a lot of different places around. As soon as you get into a sacred space like this, it's almost like the connection feels, and it lasts. It's like my friends are all far away from me. I know them at such a different intimacy level than I do the people even here in Nashville with me. So yes, like I couldn't agree more. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I'm here for anything you need. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I appreciate you guys showing up.